everybody? Welcome to today's show. Trump is a G. He goes in, he talks with Zelensky, and they make a deal. He already has, he's already got Zelensky's, and he says that he's ready to go and talk with Putin and end the Russia-Ukraine war. He says too many people have lost their lives, and this needs to stop. What's even more crazy is that you literally can see where Zelensky is trusting more in Trump than he is in Biden, who is the president, and in Kamala Harris. This is huge. We also have it where the United Nations is here in America. The president from Iran is here. Remember, Iran has already made threats against Trump's life, but they have literally pulled Secret Service detail from Trump and are forcing him to make the changes to the things that he does and how he holds his rallies and events in order to protect other world leaders while they're here. This is super strange. We already have threats against Trump's life, but yet they're pulling Secret Service. This doesn't look good. We also have breaking news more on the threats against Trump's life. This literally is about as crazy as it gets. Trump needs to be protected. Bongino has some insights, and I'm telling you, this is going to knock your socks off, on top of the new number of criminals that are entering into the United States through the southern border. They've got a lot of things that they're trying to take Trump out with, and you need to hear this. Just want to say thank you to everybody that's watching. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button so I can serve you every day with the top news. And also, if you don't mind, click the thumbs up like button. It really does help to grow the channel, and we appreciate your support. And just want to say, remember, join the True Life News family. The links are in the description, and we just did our video. It's in the feed of our giving back, and we're going to continue to do that more and more. And I also want to say we are truly grateful and thankful for everybody that blesses me and my family with a super chat donation. We are so thankful, and we just want to continue serving you every single day. But let's get into this breaking news, because this is huge. This is what we need. This is a true leader stepping up. Check it out.
Strongest of our soldiers, our people. Of course, it will bring us closer to the peace. We need just peace. We need just peace. It's so important to have just peace for the people, especially for the families who lost their children. It's a big tragedy.
President Trump, have you changed your thoughts on how this war should end, what you think should be done, or do you still stand by some of the previous statements?
Well, I learned a lot, but I think I haven't changed from the standpoint that we both want to see this end, and we both want to see a fair deal made, and it's got to be fair, and I think that'll happen at the right time. I think it's going to happen. The president wants it to end, and he wants it to end as quickly as possible. He wants a fair transaction to take place, and I think, right now I'm campaigning, so right now I don't have much to do with it other than we're doing very well in terms of the campaign, and I've been saying that I believe if I win, we're going to have a very fair and I think actually rather rapid deal. It should stop, and the president wants it to stop. And I'm sure President Putin wants it to stop. And that's a good combination. So we want to have a fair deal for everybody.
What do you envision as fair?
Well, it's too early to say that. I mean, I have my own ideas, and I'm sure the president definitely has his own ideas, but it has to be fair.
Yes.
This war shouldn't be started, and I think that the problem that Putin killed so many people, and of course we need to do everything to pressure him to stop this war, and he's on our territory. That is the most important to understand. He's on our territory, and how to stop the war, to pressure him as we can, we have to do it.
And do you think the U.S. is the best?
U.S. is the leader. U.S. is the leader of support. U.S. is the leader in the world, and of course we value the support of the United States. We're thankful to the United States people of America, and of course we understand that United States can be the leader through any negotiation. You know that we have the peace summit, and we want to organize the second one, and we count on this.
I know you're both in a rush. Last question. Will there be another meeting in the near future between you?
Could very well happen, but I think the president said it the best. This is a war that should have never happened.
Ooh.
It should have never happened, and it wouldn't have happened. It's...
Oh, come on.
but this is a war that should have never happened, and we'll get it solved. It's a complicated puzzle, very complicated puzzle, but we'll get it solved, and people get on with their lives. Too many people dead. Too many beautiful cities. I've seen those cities. They're so beautiful, and they, I don't know how you can ever rebuild them the way they were. It's not possible.
You have to come, by the way, to see our city.
I will. It's a beautiful country, beautiful weather, beautiful everything, but we have to get this over with. But it's a war, and the president agrees. This is a war that should have never happened. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Do you see that? I love his level of leadership. With Biden, it's like, no, we'll just keep feeding you money, keep giving you taxpayer dollars to fight this war. And Trump's in here, comes in and says, you know what, guys? We need to make a deal because this can't continue on forever. We need to end this. It needs to be fair, and we need to figure this out. Because regardless, that's how Trump deals with things. When he dealt with it in business, he'd come in, he'd make the deal, and they'd be done with it. Everybody move on with their lives. We have these career politicians that basically live on these dang wars, the industrial war complex, and this is where we need these wars to end. People are losing their lives, and we need leadership to take over and make things happen. At the same time, this is not cool. This is like, what you're about to hear next is not good for Trump. With the UN being here, Trump is not getting as much Secret Service protection as he's supposed to get. Things are having to change, and now there's this new threat. Check it out.
So I usually don't do this because I really don't feel the need to be first.
Oh, sorry, guys.
It's what's led us to being the most popular live stream in the world because people know they can come here for truth. However, this is such a serious story. I'm going to kind of get out in front of it right now because I got a text this morning from a very important person in our movement who was very concerned about this. It's been going around online and on social media that what we would call SAMs, that sound like Sam's Club, but surface-to-air missiles, basically shoulder-fired missiles that go from the ground and then take out a target in the air, whether a helicopter, a plane, whatever it may be. There is a story going around the internet for those of you in the chat, because I want to make sure we're not crazy here. Have you guys heard this story? Just a quick yes or no. Because I've gotten so many emails, I'm actually a little overwhelmed. If I get 10 emails on a topic, it's a big deal. If you get 1,000, it's like people are going crazy. Okay, you've heard about it. Okay, a lot of, man pads, that kind of stuff, okay? Here's what I know so far. I'll tell you what I do know. Given my 12-year background and contacts, the surface-to-air missile threat to, say, Trump's plane, Air Force One, Air Force Two, any plane carrying a protectee is real. It's been a threat for a long time.
Wow.
That's what I also know is, thankfully, it is extremely difficult, however, but not impossible. We clear? I don't want anyone to misconstrue what I'm saying. It is extremely difficult, however, not impossible, to get your hands on a surface-to-air missile within the United States. It's not like buying a Saturday night special on the corner of, Sutter Avenue and Penn.
Like, this is crazy that we're even showing you this, that we're even talking about this, that literally not only is Trump need to be protected on land, but also in the air. That there's news out there where people are trying to take him out while he's in his plane. This is nuts. Let me know your thoughts.
Pennsylvania in the 7-5 precinct when I was a cop. It is really difficult. They are relatively tightly controlled within the United States. There are tons of them around the world. There are probably still some running around from the Afghan war with the Soviets. I'm not saying it's impossible. Hear what I'm telling you. I'm just telling you it's really difficult. Now, having said the latter, that around the world, these things are a lot easier to grab, what are the chances one was smuggled in?
Ooh.
Folks, here's what I know. My sources are telling me that this threat has been a threat for a really long time, that basically the story, I don't want to say doesn't change anything because that sounds like they don't care. They do care, but the things they've been doing to mitigate it, they've been doing forever. Now, that makes me a little bit worried.
Yeah.
Why? because the Secret Service in the past, ladies and gentlemen, has been way behind on technology. You're seeing it now with the drone story. I'll go into it on Monday, but Susan Crabtree has another banger story at Real Clear about the Secret Service's resistance to drone programs. Here's the issue. Am I talking too much about this? Because I'm okay. The military, I'm not going to say too much, but I'm going to say enough that you understand the depth of the problem. The military handles the security around Air Force One and Air Force Two, okay? So Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, I believe, are as safe as they can be against the surface-to-air missile threat. I didn't say safe, I said safe as can be. Again, I don't want any of my words misconstrued. The problem we have with Donald Trump right now is, and I'm telling you what I don't know, I don't know the level of security surrounding his aircraft or not. I don't know. They're saying now that they're going to build him up to a presidential level of security. If the threat is as real as they say it is, assuming these weapons were smuggled in, that's a big assumption. I don't know that. I'm just saying it's an internet rumor, but it doesn't mean it's not true. I'm just telling you, I'm not sure that they can acquire that level of technology that fast because it's the military. You hear me? The military, not the Secret Service, that provides a lot of the countermeasures on these aircraft. And it's going to be very difficult to buzz in the military because Donald Trump's not the sitting president, especially with 40 days to go.
Wow.
My conclusion, so I don't leave this dangling and talking, ridiculous high-level words, whatever. It's a real threat. I'm worried. He should be worried. And the Secret Service and the military better be taking this seriously because say it's a 99% chance it's a rumor. What does that mean? That means there's a 1% chance it's not. And the Secret Service doesn't get paid to think about the 99%. It gets paid to think about the 1% chance that this is going to happen. There's a 1% chance a guy's going to go sit by the fence line and try to shoot us with an SK. That happened.
That's, I mean, let me tell you this. When Dan Bongino says he's worried about something, I listen. Because to me, what's happening right now, and now that we have more information, SWAT leaders have testified under oath about what happened in January during the July 13th almost assassination, that there are things that are being hid that just got revealed. And we're breaking this news for you. Check it out.
The House Assassination Task Force held its first hearing today. Local law enforcement testified that minutes before crooks opened fire, multiple calls went out on different radio channels, sending an alert to the feds, but it was a black hole.
Here we've got the local folks, the sheriff, the state police, all of whom have their own channels and not all of whom are able to listen and hear to one another. Can you briefly talk a little bit about the Secret Service and whether or not you think they could hear you?
I do not believe they could hear us at all. They did not have a radio from us, and we did not have a radio from them. So, in the local command post, there was no way for us to hear any of the Secret Service radio traffic.
Not only were communications shot, the locals were kept in the dark. SWAT leaders said they weren't told about Iran's plot to kill Trump. And if they'd known that, it would have changed everything.
Were you made aware that Iran has ongoing assassination plots against President Trump that are active and ongoing right now as we speak, including to the run-up?
No.
To July 13th?
Wow.
I am not aware.
Was it ever discussed with you that an Iranian operative has transited Venezuela and was in the United States, according to FBI public notice made in March, recruiting hitmen to kill President Trump?
It was not.
Were you made aware on July 13th or on July 12th that day the FBI had arrested a Pakistani national, Mr. Merchan, with ties to Iran, putting down payments, actual cash, down payments to recruit hitmen?
Wow.
No.
Were you aware that that same operative were recruiting women as spotters and recruiting protesters as a distraction? A fairly sophisticated plot being run by a foreign state actor intelligence agency.
No.
Not aware.
Mr. Sullivan, in your experience, would that change how you operated? Would that heighten your level of coordination, assets?
Absolutely, Mr. Waltz. It would be a tremendous game changer.
The feds were hiding the Iranian threat from Butler authorities and then delegating all of the responsibilities to them. The task force also revealed...
Did y'all hear that? So not only was there no communication, they weren't keeping these people informed. There's things that are happening as the whole rally is happening and nobody is communicating. And just like they said, like, we didn't know anything. And the people, they didn't even have as much Secret Service there. So the people that were supposed to be in charge had no clue of what was actually going on. You cannot tell me that there's not something wrong with the Fed, with the Secret Service leadership, or whatever with this style of communication.
Never before seen dash cam footage that shows crooks on the roof of the AGR building for over 3 minutes before shots were fired. Trump was allowed to stay on stage even as officials were racing to crooks with guns drawn. Former First Lady Melania Trump speaking out to our very own Ainsley Earhart about July 13th. Listen.
When I saw it, it was only, nobody really knew yet, right? Because when you see him on the floor and you don't know if he's alive or not. Happened.
And then a few weeks later, there's another attempt on your husband's life at your golf course. Where were you and what was your reaction to this attempt?
I was in New York City, actually, and I saw it on the television. And as soon as I saw it on television, I called again. And he was okay because Secret Service were great. The guys that they were with him, they were fantastic. And I think both of the events, they were really miracles.
Early voting is starting throughout the country, and Trump's campaign rallies are now at risk because of the Biden-Harris administration.
So let me tell you this. This is really bad. So what you just saw there was the very high level of incompetency in protecting Donald Trump, right? Well, what you're about to see next is just mind-blowing. They've literally pulled protection from Donald Trump to protect other world leaders. This is a former president. This is a person running as a leading candidate for the 2024 presidential election, and yet they're moving part of his Secret Service detail away? Let me know your thoughts.
Rally, it's a big outdoor rally in Wisconsin now, forced to move it to a smaller indoor venue, and now we're learning why. Fox News is told that the Secret Service is shorthanded. Why? Well, because they have to protect all those diplomats at the UN General Assembly, the ones who hate us. They have to provide security for all the foreign dignitaries while they're here in the United States. That includes countries like Iran. And that means the Secret Service can't protect Trump because they're busy protecting leaders of a country that might want to plot to kill him. Let that sink in. Joining me now, Tulsi Gabbard, former congresswoman and member of Trump's transition team. Tulsi, apparently this administration's America Last policies now extend to the Secret.
Also, too, I want to really know this. Let me know in the chat. I've never heard of the Secret Service having this many issues with personnel protecting our leaders ever in my entire life. Have you heard of it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Secret Service, we seem to be prioritizing foreign dignitaries over perhaps the next president of the United States. How is that going to sit with the public?
Laura, you're right. This is exactly the latest example of America Last, and that shows the choice that we have between President Trump's America First policies and Kamala Harris's America Last policies, and we're suffering the consequences of those. The question is, who benefits from this decision? As you said, President Trump had to move to a much smaller venue, means he has much fewer people who can go in and hear him speak in a critical state like Wisconsin. Kamala Harris benefits from this decision that's coming from their administration, limiting his ability to reach people in a very critical time. How is this not election interference when Kamala Harris is the Democratic nominee running for president? And secondly, you have President Biden going out and announcing another $8 billion that he's going to give to Zelensky and his cronies in Ukraine.
Wow.
As we have the VA telling us they don't have enough money to take care of our veterans. We have soldiers living in moldy barracks. We have families in my home state of Hawaii who are still displaced from that Maui fire that happened well over a year ago. I don't know how they look at the American people, both Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, and continue to lie and say, oh, you know, I love my country and we're going to work for you, when their actions tell us the exact opposite.
Well, and Tulsi, we're learning that, and the angle will be there at the second Butler rally, which is going to take place next Saturday. Can we be confident that former President Trump will be protected there, given this Wisconsin move? I mean, that's a big rally for him, to finish the rally that he started on July 13th. Will that happen?
It's a special and powerful show of resilience and show of strength and fortitude on President Trump's part, first of all, and his commitment to the people there in Butler, Pennsylvania. All eyes are going to be on that rally. We will see what the Harris-Biden administration does. I remain very concerned because clearly, time after time, there have been multiple attempts on President Trump's life at this point, and the fact that still they are making other priorities other than his safety and security should not allow any one of us to rest in complacency.
Guys, do y'all realize how messed up it is? There are literally multiple attempts on his life. We've got to, instead of just giving him Secret Service detail, we have to pass a bill to get people to vote on it. And then foreign leaders come in, and one of those foreign leaders is literally, they've called threats on Trump's life, and we're using Secret Service to protect them, not Trump. And then we give $8 billion to Zelensky, when we've got the people with the Maui fires that still haven't been taken care of. We've got veterans, homeless vets. We've got all these problems here, and they still continue to bypass Trump to help other people or bypass Americans. Like, this is so ridiculous how this administration operates.
Tulsi, you mentioned the issue with Kamala Harris and Zelensky. And obviously that looks so political today, trying to make her, you know, build up her foreign policy cred, her military, you know, commander-in-chief cred. But I've never heard an American president, not since, you know, for decades, when the Soviet Union was a direct threat to the United States, sound as bellicose toward a nuclear power as she did today. I wonder if you could comment on that and how dangerous of a moment this is with this future escalation of the situation in Ukraine.
It's the most dangerous moment of our lives, Laura. We cannot understate the seriousness of the position that we are in, directly because of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden's foreign policy and their action, their decisions. Kamala Harris is wholly unfit to be our commander-in-chief. She clearly doesn't know that we have service members in combat zones at war today, putting their lives on the line. She clearly does not understand or care about the serious consequences of what nuclear Armageddon would mean for all of us, all of the American people and humanity in the world. And she is joined by many neocons in doing so. And lastly, in that bellicose language, Laura, she is continuing to lie to the American people, saying, oh, first, you know, Russia, first it's Ukraine, and then it's the Baltic countries, and then it's Poland, and then it's all of these other countries, and they want to take over the entire, you know, former Soviet Union all over. There's no proof of this. There's no evidence of this. This is her spouting the talking points coming from the military-industrial complex, who wants to continue to see Liz Cheney and Dick Cheney, who want to continue to see billions of our taxpayer dollars taken out of the pockets of the American people and fed into these massive defense corporations and those who are profiting from war. Never mind the fact that the American people are continuing to suffer, and never mind the fact that they are escalating this war that is